एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयान्।
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everybody can sing at your own place without unmuting. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One last name. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। So welcome you all for the Gita Sandesh course. We'll do the prayers first. So zoom your screens a little bit if you want. This is Mangala Charana. Mangala Charana is basically we are invoking the auspiciousness and the mercy such that we can understand this Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of the Supreme. So for that we are praying. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshururmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I request all of you to, these prayers are coming from within. So we have to have that bhava. Bhava is very important. Your mind is occupied with so many things, but please request you all to focus on these classes, and prayers are very important. With folded hands, if you do not have any apprehensions, please fold your hands and with a prayerful mood, let us request your mind and also the Supreme Lord such that we can understand this Gita that he is trying to instruct us. Once again with folded hands. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshurumlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूप कथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातान् सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं तत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे परमानंद माधवम् चैतन्यम ईश्वरम। So once again, I thank you all for joining today. It's a warm welcome to all of you. So today we have seen that Arjuna had so many doubts, and in that process of having so many doubts, he got confused, he got bewildered, and finally he has taken the shelter of a bona fide acharya. In Adi Guru is Sri Krishna, so he has taken the shelter of Sri Krishna, and Krishna is now taken the position of a guru, and he's trying to he's instructing Arjuna being in that position. कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभावात् पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेता कृष्ण. So in this particular sloka, if you see, Arjuna has expressed saying that because of my own weaknesses, miserly weakness, I'm not able to make decisions in my life, and so I request you to take me as your disciple and instruct me. Very important. That's where we ended yesterday, and we also have seen that what is the importance of guru in our life. So we have seen that the Krishna's chastisement. So he has chastised Arjuna initially, and now he proceeds to instruct him taking that guru sthan. So now today we will see what is our real identity. Lot of confusion is there because we don't know who we are. So unlike any other literature, Bhagavad Gita's instructions start from Krishna saying that who you really are. You are not this body, you are spirit soul. So that is where Bhagavad Gita is a manual which is not at a surface level. It talks at its facts and things which are not generally seen with your indriyas. The five indriyas that we have, you cannot see. So the soul analysis has been done, and we will see that in greater detail today. And if you see the true identity, who you are, your eternal soul, and tolerate temporary duality. So he also says that how you should deal with the difficulties in your life, because each one of you being in this material world face difficulties, and the difficulties that you are facing could be adi bhautika, adi devika, or adhyatmika. there are three types of difficulties that you will be facing in this material world. And Krishna very categorically says that this is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. So there are going to be difficulties. And there are so many other religions which they say that you come to our come and do our prayers here, and all your difficulties in your life will be vanished. So unlike that kind of a wrong philosophy, here Krishna is saying that difficulties are integral part of this material world. So that is what he is going to reiterate, and he is going to talk about it. Reincarnation concept is also talking about reincarnation, that when you take this birth, there is going to be another birth. And what kind of a birth you will be taking, it depends upon the kind of karma you do. The soul is non-destructible. That means your real identity, which he is talking about, he tells the characteristics of your soul. Don't lament and fight. So finally, he is instructing that all these petty weaknesses that you have, just keep aside, don't have self-pity, and now fight. That is your dharma. So that is what he is going to talk about. So that's the gist about what we'll be covering today, and also the other two dharmas and the Atma Rama. This is also what we are going to see. So we have already seen this. I'm sorry, I'll just go to the part where this. Okay, this is the real idea. So Krishna begins by teaching Arjuna the most fundamental understanding of spiritual life. As the driver operates a car, as the bird lives in a cage, we, the spirit soul, are similarly utilizing this body. So the comparison is Krishna is giving is that you are using this body. Like the example is that you have a car. A car cannot move on its own. You have to have a driver who will sit and then switch on the car, and then it will move. So car cannot take decisions, or it can move on its own. So the analogy is that, say suppose somebody asks you, they say that usually what we say that this is my hand, this is my nose. So you don't say that hand me, nose me. I said this is my hand. That means there is something which is getting identified higher than this body. So that is what we need to understand, and Krishna is trying to tell you. Don't operate at a bodily conscious level, but operate at a deeper level, which is at a spiritual level. Although living within the body, we are simultaneously different from it, temporarily operating it to perform activities, fulfill our desires, and interact with the world around us. So we use this faculty, whatever we have, panchendriyas. So these indriyas we use to interact with this world. I see this world, I smell, I can taste, etc. Okay, until we realize our true identity as spirit soul, we undergo the process of reincarnation, accepting unnatural material bodies and the subsequent suffering and distress of life in this material world. Krishna is very categorically very much saying that unless until you identify or you get the self-realization about yourself, then this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi cycle which is there, will keep repeating forever, and you will be taking the unnatural material bodies. Now today you are taking human form body, but you can take any of these 84 lakh species, but you will be able to take. So to stop that, you need to self-realize. That is what is mentioned here, right? So this is what we are going to understand today. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Asocyan Anvasochastvam Prajna Bhadansha Bhashase Gatasu Nagataschunscha Nanu Shoshanti Pandita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So Krishna is trying to chastise Arjuna, saying that you are speaking like a learned man and as a pandita, but actually you are not. So stop this whatever lamentation you have, and don't put yourself on the material platform. That's the whole point. What he is trying to drive. Okay. Aditya Prabhu, you are understanding, right? Okay, very good, very good. Be attentive. Anybody has questions, please do interrupt me. Sri Ram Prabhu, thank you very much for joining. Hare Krishna. Shanmukh Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prem Raja Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Krishna Prabhuji, Murli Prabhu, thank you very much. So please do interact over chat. If you have any question, I will stop there and assist you in your understanding. Now, if you see the gross body which is there, which is made by the Panchabhutas, you will see what is this Panchabhutas. And this gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So these are the 5 elements with which your gross body is made. And this is the first layer that you have, right? The second layer is the subtle body. The subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence, and ego. So these are the 3 things that form your subtle body. Very nice. Understood? Aditya Prabhu, understood? Right? Okay, thank you. So you have this gross body, which is made up of these gross elements, and you have subtle body, which are made up of certain elements, and the soul. The soul is what Krishna is going to describe, which is your real identity. I'll give you an example, which is unfortunately it is so much common, at least in the last few months. A lot of people are leaving their material body. So the way I am telling also makes sense. They are leaving their material body. Now suppose there is a person who is dead and his body is there. What do we generally say? We say that wo mar gaya. Vaina chanipoyadu. He passed away. Now a general inquisitive person will have a doubt. Mar gaya, kya gaya? Chanipoyadu. Em poindi? He left his body. He passed away. What passed away? So everything is there. The body is there. So that inquiry will give rise to saying that there is something beyond what I can see, what I can perceive with my material senses. So that is what Krishna is trying to say. You are not this material body. You are a spirit soul. So that identity is what he is trying to give you. And this is very much well elaborated in the 15.8 of Bhagavad Gita. But as I told you, the summary of Bhagavad Gita is what we are getting as part of this chapter 2. So the deep dive will happen down the line. Okay. Now we can dig deeper onto this, but the point is that the soul, the jiva, so what's the difference between the soul, that individual soul, and the super soul? So that description is also given. We will discuss that at later point of time. So the chariot of the body, you are made up of what you are is basically the 5 senses are there, are compared to the 5 horses, which are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the skin. So these are the 5 senses through which you can see this world. And the mind is the cord which is controlling the horses, and the intelligence is the driver, and the soul is the passenger who is sitting there. Okay, now what has happened with us is that who is supposed to be controlling whom is the question. As this is taken from Kenopanishad, this example of a chariot. Now, if suppose the senses are controlling the mind, then what happens? The horses, one person says that, no, I wanted to go and look at this site, which is not good, but still I wanted to go and see, because one senses is dictating you like that. And one sense is saying that, no, I wanted to eat something I don't like, my parents do not like that I should be eating there, but still I am going to eat. So this kind of a sense dictation, if it is coming, and the mind is accepting that, and in turn the mind is controlling the intelligence to do whatever the mind is saying, that means The horses will go in whatever direction, and eventually what will happen is that you will meet with an accident. And that is the kind of accidents that we are having in with ourselves. So what you need to do is that actually the way that it should be is that intelligence should control the mind and the mind should control the senses. If you see that is the way, then you can reach your destination. And what is your destination? That Krishna is going to clarify what should be your ideal destination to best utilize this body that you have got, right? So the gist is that one should try to control their senses. The controlling of the senses should be there in the mind's hand, and the mind should be in the control of the intelligence. The other way around, if it is happening, you'll meet with an accident. Okay. Natvevaham jatunasam natve neme janadipa nachayna bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atah param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in future shall any of us cease to be. So he is operating at what level? Can somebody tell? When he is telling all this, so everybody would be there. Neither you existed in the past, you will exist in the future. What is he trying to talk about? To what he is trying to attribute this characteristic? Can somebody put it on the chat, please? Yeah, thank you. Okay, soul is eternal. Yeah. Okay, he is trying to describe the characteristic of the soul. Very well said. All of you have really told what it is. Thank you. Thanks for your attentiveness. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Keep. Sorry, I might have missed one. Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yauvananjara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyate. Again, this is all the characteristic of the soul. The real identity is what he's trying to talk in this module. So you know that Gita, G stands for what? Can somebody tell me what does the acronym Gita stands for? G stands for what? So can you put all the four? G stands for Guru. I stands for identity. Very nice, Krishna Prabhu. T stands for two dharmas. Very well said. Thank you again. Okay. The last one. A stands for Atmarama. So now he is trying to describe or talk about the soul or the real identity is trying to tell, and that these are all the characteristics of the soul in one way, because that's your real identity. Let's relate to that. Matra sparshaastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkha agama paino nityas tam titikshva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in the due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Is Krishna telling you that in this material world there will be no problems if you start praying to me and if you become a devotee? Or he is not giving you any false conceptions, or he is not giving you any false promises. He is saying that difficulties in this material world are inevitable. It is like the other side of the coin. So don't be in the fool's paradise thinking that once I become a devotee, when I start praying to Krishna, there will be no difficulties in your life. This is the false conception people are making, and just for their own gains, they are making all these false promises. Krishna never said that. So what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna is that, see, difficulties in your life are like winter and summer. Winter and summer keep coming. So similarly, being in this material world, you will get to face these problems. Whatever problems that you are talking about, you will face here, being in the material world. But once you go to the spiritual world, and actually spiritual world is also called as Vaikunta. Vaikunta, say basically Vaikunta means that place where there are no miseries is called Vaikunta. So that is the kind of place. Eventually Krishna says that you need to go there. Then you will have the, this is not again a false kind of a destination he is saying. This is actually a reality, because as we said, Vedas are Apaurshaha, and there is nothing that has been proven wrong till date, and it will never be. This is the highest and the topmost and the full knowledge that anybody would get. Okay. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grihnati naroparani tata sarirani vihaya jirnani anyai samyati navami dehi. As a person puts on new garments, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material body, giving up the old and useless ones. We have seen that there are people, and I have seen my own, some of my family members leaving their bodies because of the corona and things like that. Now, one way is that you kind of lament day in and day out, saying that it's a great loss, no doubt about it, it's a great loss. You do not have that association anymore. But again, understand that this is the fact of life. If not today, they have to leave their body. So they say that ISKCON philosophy or Bhagavad Gita philosophy is not just art of living. Please make note of this. ISKCON philosophy, or in that matter, because ISKCON depends upon Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in toto, that does not teach just that art of living. It also teaches a very important thing. It also teaches what? Can somebody tell me? Puja Mataji, the art of dying also it teaches. How you should leave your body when you are leaving. So that is very well described. Somebody may say that, what is this? This is a pessimistic way of instructing, and the pessimistic views are expressed in Bhagavad Gita. Why are they talking about death? Death is integral part of our life. So you have to deal with graciously. How do you deal with your death is also important. Art of dying, art of living, they go hand in hand. Okay. I did not understand the poem. Okay. Which poem, Aditya? You can put it, we will clarify it later. Thank you very much. 2.22 he did not understand. Okay. Oh, see, the Aditya is asking, your video is not on, Aditya. Okay, anyways. So what Aditya is saying is that he did not understand this verse. Now suppose what happens is that I have this shirt, and I've been using this shirt for quite some time. What will happen? It will be torn. All the fabric will come out. Then what I will do? Naturally, I will just leave this shirt and buy a new one. So such that I can utilize. Similarly, what Krishna is saying is that Vasamsi jirnani. Jirnani means if it is gone, worn out. Then what I will do? Then I will take a new body. And that is what eventually will happen to all of us. That once this body gets old and it is no more usable, then I will just leave this and take another body. Okay, Aditya, I presume it is clear now. So those who have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. Okay. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dadati pavakaha, nachainam kledayantapu, nashoshayati marutaha. And he is also describing about what is the real characteristic of the soul. It cannot be cut, and it cannot be cut into pieces by any weapons, nor burned in fire, nor moistured by water, nor withered by wind. So that's the characteristic of the soul. A lot of people will say that unless and until you show me, I cannot believe it. So, but Krishna is saying that this particular soul that you are talking about, you cannot see it with this material eyes. So one time a professor asked, the similar kind of a question. Professor asked a person, he was a reader of Bhagavad Gita and he was fairly have a good understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Then he met his professor and the professor said, see, I cannot believe in this soul concept and God concept unless until you show me, then I will not believe it. Then this boy said, he's a teenage boy, he said, Professor, what you say, if it is, that's what it is, you are saying that unless until you show me, I cannot believe it. Can you show me your mind? Can any of you show your mind? You cannot show your mind. Then he said, that boy said, Professor, since you are not able to show your mind, can I presume now that you are a mindless person? So now this professor was in jigs. So he said, what is this? Maybe it making sense. So not everything can be perceived by material senses. So similarly, here Krishna is trying to describe you about the soul, what are the characteristics of the soul, and your material senses cannot perceive it. So what faculty you need to perceive the soul? He's going to describe at later point of time in great detail. We just started our journey. The train is in the platform. Now it just started to take and the wheels started to rotate. So those questions, whatever you have, you can describe. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Goloka. Hare Krishna. Journey to Goloka. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So Jatasihi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mrityasya cha tasmad apariharte natvam sochati arhasi. So they basically what he is saying is that somebody who has taken birth is sure to die. Okay. So once who is this? I'm just forgetting. So yeah, Hiranyakashipu prayed to the Supreme Lord. He never prayed to Supreme Lord. He prayed to Brahma. He prayed to Brahma. Who is prayed to Brahma? Just now, which I said. Can somebody tell me? I just want to see how attentive you are. Okay, Hiranyakashipu. Thank you, Vinod Bro. So Hiranyakashipu had did lot of penances and he prayed to Brahma and Brahma came back and he said, what do you want, my boy? Then Hiranyakashipu said that I wanted a boon where I will not die. I will not die and I will be forever. Then Brahma said, what are you talking about? So I myself have got a lifetime where I have to leave this body. Maybe it is more than what we are, but he also says that I got a lifetime. I have to die one day. So what I cannot, I do not have what I can give you. So then Hiranyakashipu said that I should not be dying by any weapon or neither in the day nor night. Inside or outside, all these things, permutation, combination, it's tried. But again, the Supreme Lord knows he is more intelligent than any of us. So then he came and, as what avatar he came and killed Hiranyakashipu? Anybody? Narasimhadev Bhagavan. Thank you. You are one step ahead of me. Okay. So somebody is reading my mind. Okay, so that ends the description of the soul, and we have done that module. Any doubts you have with respect to the first module, second module that we covered? First was Guru, second was your real identity. Now, third one we are talking about two dharmas. Okay, so any questions anybody has? What do you mean by lament? Okay, Madhavi Mataji. Okay, maybe I can see your video. Okay, lament in English word lament means to become sad. So your lament also means that you are in distressed position. So you are lamenting for so many things in our life. I do not have this. I do not have this. A lament is a superlative degree of sadness in one way. But see, what happens is that if you continue your lamentation for a certain amount of time, as per our medical science also, you will tend to become depressed. And this depression goes for a longer duration, you will become mad. So this is the psychology. See, Bhagavad Gita is all about the psychology in one way. He is talking about at a deeper level. It is not like Freud, who's meant, who is told to be the father of psychology, modern psychology. Bhagavad Gita is a manual. This is the perfect psychological manual. The psychology is very much described at a deeper level. Not even Sigmund Freud can come very close to this manual. Okay, I thank you for your interaction. So the two dharmas that we are talking about, right? So what is dharma? Because there is so much of misconception about dharma. So before I go, let me check on that. What is dharma? Duty. Duty is dharma. Okay. Anybody else? Responsibility. Responsibility. Oh, so many. Okay. To hold the action. Prescribed duties. Okay. Prescribed duties is one of them. Yes. Yeah. Righteousness. Characteristics that never change. Promising. Okay. Let me give you a simple analogy. Is Aditya there? Okay. Very good. Very good. Aditya, this is for you. See, I'll give you a simple example. What is dharma? Can somebody tell me what is the dharma of sugar? Just think. What is the dharma of sugar? Sweetness. Very nice. Right? So, now I'll give you another example. What is the dharma of fire? What is the dharma of fire? Burn. Okay. Okay. Burn and give heat, light. Okay. So what we have come to know that sweet is the, if you say that sweetness is the dharma of sugar and light and heat is the dharma of fire, that means what we are talking about is the constitutional characteristic of something is what is dharma. Constitutional character. Constitutional. We are not doing at a surface level. Constitutionally, if that is not there, that means that that is not. See, if sweetness is not there in sugar, it is no more called a sugar. If there is no, if in the fire light is not coming, heat is not coming, that means it is not light. It is something else, right? So what is that which is ingredient or increded into that thing which gives that identity is called dharma. Now the question comes, what is my dharma as they have taken this human body? So what is my constitutional position, or what is that constitutionally? If I do that, or if I have that and identify that and accordingly project it or perform that, then I will be able to say that I have performed my dharma. Dharma is not religion. Please make note of this. There are a lot of people who say that dharma is religion. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. So in this particular Sanskrit verse, people have misinterpreted saying that safeguard your religion. Hindu religion is at stake. Now you safeguard that, then that religion will in turn will safeguard you. That's the wrong conception. So dharma is something which is an integral part of that particular thing. It's called dharma. As I given you the example of sugar and fire. For that matter, water also. So what is the dharma of water? So dharma of water is that when you drink it, it should quench your thirst. So it should not burn you. Suppose you got an acid and sometimes water look alike. But if you see acid, when you drink acid, will your thirst get quenched? No, it will burn your entire body. So that is how we should describe dharma. Dharma loosely translates as duty, loosely translates as duty. But in the deeper sense, refers to the intrinsic characteristics and qualities of something that cannot be avoided, neglected, or negated under any circumstance. Very important. Okay. So firstly, the soul has swadharma. We'll understand what is swadharma, and a worldly duty which consists of responsibilities towards your family, friends, and society. That's the first dharma you have to do. What is that? First dharma, your swadharma. The second, the soul has a sanatana dharma. Sanatana dharma, an eternal spiritual duty which comprises of one's relationship with the God, the nature, and all spirit souls. Okay, one must perform such duties side by side. Both the dharmas you should do it. So your swadharma and sanatana dharma. Now you may have a lot of doubts. If you have any questions, please raise it. I will be able to answer about these two dharmas. Okay. Now we are saying that you have swadharma, and you are saying that grossly you have two bodies. Okay, you have two bodies. I know we have discussed that there are three bodies, but grossly you have two bodies. One material body, another is spiritual body. In between we have also the subtle body. The subtle body is made up of what? Anybody can say? Saranya Mataji? I know if you switch on your videos, I feel that you are attentive. And I request you, please switch on your videos. If you wanted to get max out of these classes, you should ask doubts and you should be attentive, and don't hesitate to put on your videos. I might take your name and ask you to tell that whether you understood or not. And I really appreciate a lot of you who are really interacting and switching on your videos. Sarvanan Prabhu, you are looking very smart. Thank you. So I see you every day. Thank you very much. Okay. So what we are saying is that you have this material body which is made up of the gross elements, all the five panchabhutas we are made up of. So, and also we have this subtle body which is made up of mind, intelligence, and ego, the spirit soul. So now, since you have taken this material body, you have and this is called a conditioned body or conditioned nature. Why it is called conditioned nature, we will see that. Now, since we have this material body, you have a dharma associated with that. The responsibilities that you have towards your family members, towards your own body, and other things associated with this body. The next dharma which you should not forget, which most of us forget, is that your sanatana dharma, because you are really your real identity is that you are not this material body, you are a spirit soul. That doesn't say that you should leave the swadharma and only focus on sanatana dharma. Bhagavad Gita never said that. Lot of people think that Bhagavad Gita is a manual or a book which should be read after 60 years when you are just about to retire. That is biggest foolishness. This is the biggest. I sometimes feel that this Bhagavad Gita should be for children at their Kaumaram age. At like Aditya is the best example. He is so attentive and he is coming every day, and he is interacting also. The other kids also, I request they also to interact. This is the time where they should get this knowledge. Because of our Macaulay system, this British education system, they have made all our culture as mythology and myth, and they don't even know what treasure that we have, and that is the reason they are suffering like anything. And we are also suffering because we are aping those West. We are imitating the West. You have your own identity. Our identity is basically based on our own culture, which we are forgetting. So I'm not saying that Bhagavad Gita is only to be read by Indians only. It is a manual which is to be read by everyone all over the world. And that's the contribution that we have, but we are forgetting it. So what we will be understanding as part of these two dharmas, the material and the spiritual duty. Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. The Buddhi Yoga, which is what there is no loss if you do this Buddhi Yoga. Devotion versus sense control, detached engagement. So these are high level things that we will be describing. But again, if you don't understand everything, please note that you can definitely raise your the questions. But at the same time, Krishna is trying to give you an overview about everything. So he is going to dig deeper and dive deeper at later point of time. Okay. So here, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo Hana Vidyate Swalpamapi Asya Dharmasya Trayato Mahato Bayat. So in this particular sloka, Krishna is saying that in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this both in this path can protect one from most dangerous type of fear. Whatever endeavor that you are doing as part of understanding Bhagavad Gita also, this endeavor, whatever you are doing, will get to, you'll carry forward this in your next life. Oh, this is a very loaded statement I have made, right? Now, what it is told is here, let me, just give me one second. Now, what is told here is that whatever, it is like this, the efforts that you are putting in terms of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and you have not perfected the art of performing your Swadharma fully, what will happen is what he is trying to tell you. He is saying that whatever knowledge you are going to gain, whatever effort that you are putting in terms of understanding your true identity or the self-realization process is not complete, say, because of the age and because of the time or whatever reason, it will not go waste. This will be carried forward in future in your next life, and your life will also be decided based on the kind of effort that you are putting in terms of your self-realization. So that we will dig deeper, as I mentioned. But if you have any doubts, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bhavushakahi anantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Those who are on the path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. Oh, beloved child of Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So the gist of this is that you need to be irresolute in purpose. That means you should have a goal in your life. That is what is mentioned here. One should have purpose in your life, and that should be irresolute. That means today, you know that a lot of us, as soon as January 1st comes, what do we do? First thing, what do we do when January 1st comes? Nobody? Resolutions. So we kind of put lot of resolutions. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do exercise every day. I wanted to wake up for 5 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to read my study books, whatever academic books, and I wanted to achieve this. I wanted to perform well in my, so I wanted to learn certain things, new tools, techniques. So many things. These are a lot of resolutions you make. What happens within the first week of January? I'm not trying to discourage you, but the point is that we are not resolute in our resolution. So now for you to really progress in the self-realization process, when you do, you are not neglecting your Swadharma also. You are performing it much better because you have a purpose in your life. And the purposes are very clear, what objectives are very clear. So there is no confusion. One of the things that I have immensely gained out of reading Bhagavad Gita is that my confusions, the mind that used to bother me so much, now it doesn't bother me that much. At least to a large extent, all that is taken care. Why? Because you are resolute about, see, there is a saying in English also. They say that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. You have to stand for something in your life. If you are not standing for something, that means you are not really, I would say that you are misutilizing your human form of life. Animals cannot do because they do not have that buddhi, they do not have that faculty of doing things what we can do. So please do not go into this animalistic instinct and just live a life that is going to waste it sooner or later, right? So I request you all to take some resolutions in your life. I know I would not like to ask you to put it on chat, but I would request you to have a notebook. Don't take this Bhagavad Gita lightly. Whatever you are getting to experience, and you need to make some notes, a journal for that matter. And what is that I have learned today? What is that previously I didn't know, I got to know today? How can it impact my life if I really follow this? This kind of a journal should be there available. I would request you, all of you, to do this. And if somebody wanted to send this across to me, I'll be more than happy to interact with you. I do know none of us who are preachers in ISKCON have any ulterior motives. Our only motto is that we have got benefited out of reading Bhagavad Gita. How is that we can help others to get this knowledge? That's our primary endeavor. We do not have any. So in that capacity, in that service mode, we are asking you, if you wanted to interact with us, we are available. Not that we do not have any other thing to do. We could have utilized this time for so many things. But we are giving importance to teaching Bhagavad Gita because that is one of our social responsibilities also. That we have to give back what we gained. So that way you are exhibiting certain qualities what are essential as part of your real identity. So that we will discuss at later point of time. So please maintain a journal, maintain a notebook, write down your doubts, write down your understanding, write down what you can practically apply in your life, and what are the things that you could foresee, things that you could do. Okay, the last and the final segment of this particular chapter is called Atmarama. What is this Atmarama? There is another name also for this we could have given, and we'll discuss about that. What is the result of someone who performs such duties with determination and enthusiasm? The first and foremost question, it will come to you. Yes, I agree with what you are saying, that I will perform all that. I will do my Swadharma, I will do my Sanatan Dharma, I will perform all these things, and I will get self-realized. Then what is it for me? That they say that, what do they say? Na kenti. Mere liye kya hai? So that kind of a thing is what is addressed here. What is the result for someone who performs such duties, both the duties, with determination and enthusiasm? Enthusiasm is the key word here. So a lot of you are coming to these particular sessions. Be enthusiastic. See, if I am telling, if I am preaching this Bhagavad Gita, taking these classes like this, since you have come, okay, I will tell you, there is no enthusiasm. So the way the body language is also important. So keep your back straight. So those people early in the morning, we are not got used to wake up early in the morning. So because of these classes, you are waking up. If you wanted to be awake, keep your back straight. So when most of the time you know that, what are the yogis doing? What is their posture? It is either Padmasana or Sukhasana, and in the Chin Mudra. So this will really make your body intact and your mind intact, and you will be able to focus in your life. So yoga has got its own significance. I being a yoga practitioner, where I did my master's degree in yoga, so I could talk about that. But again, the yoga that we talk about is Hatha Yoga, not the yoga that it is one limb of the yoga practice to keep your mind and body and soul fit in one way if you are following Ashtanga Yoga. But none of us in the modern yoga are following Ashtanga Yoga. They are only following Hatha Yoga. how to keep my body fit. That's also essential because that is part of your what dharma? Keeping your body fit is part of what dharma? Yeah, Swadharma. Saranya Mataji, thank you very much. Yes. So don't neglect taking care of your body. I would say that in this COVID kind of situation, you have to take care of your body and keep it intact. Right? So, yeah. So what is that you are going to get when you perform these duties with determination and enthusiasm? Such a person becomes an Atmarama. Who is this Atmarama? A spiritually realized soul who finds pleasure in the self. And Krishna explains how this Atmarama is unaffected by happiness and distress, gain or loss, honor or dishonor. So can somebody tell me now, if you have read Bhagavad Gita, I was assuming that you all are reading Bhagavad Gita before coming to this class. The previous chapters, the introduction chapter you have completed, first chapter you have completed, and second chapter also you might have partially completed. There might be some enthusiastic souls who might have completed the entire second chapter so that they can ask their doubts. I used to do that while I was a student. Before I go to when the lecture used to happen on so and so topic, I used to go and read it before. And then I used to go in the class and clarify those doubts which I was not able to understand while I was doing my self-reading. So similarly, I request you with folded hands, all of you, please read Bhagavad Gita. These lectures are going to inspire you only, but actual transformation will happen when you make the endeavor to read Bhagavad Gita, not any other Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because that has transformed my life, it will transform your life also. Now, what is the, can any other name, Sanskrit word given to Atmarama, fulfilling this characteristic? Krishna explains how the Atmarama is unaffected by happiness or distress, gain or loss, honor or dishonor. That means, see the kind of a person who is exhibiting these qualities. He is called Atmarama. What is the other name given in Bhagavad Gita? Anybody? Yogi. Okay. Yeah. But not exactly. Yeah. Any other thing? One word, Sanskrit word. Yeah, Saranya, I'll address your question. Ananta Prabhu from Hyderabad. Yeah, Sthita Prajna. So the other word it is used is that Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means a person who is not disturbed. Just imagine, once you have self-realized, you are able to do your two dharmas properly, what is the kind of state you will be? What is the end goal you will be? What is the end result? You will become an Atmarama. You will become a Sthita Prajna. You will be unaffected by happiness or distress. Right now, when happiness comes, you are at the 7th cloud. When distress comes, you are going to Patala Loka. So your head is down and you are not even able to face the society. So face yourself. So in happiness and distress, gain or loss. I'll tell you an example. See, how many of you know Thomas Alva Edison? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you when this person's name Thomas Alva Edison? Yeah, bulb, right? So we cannot forget that. So Thomas Alva Edison, with his young child, this child was like 9 years, 10 years. So he got to know that his factory, where he was doing a lot of experimentation with before he invented the bulb, the tungsten filament. So before he invented that, he was doing so many experimentation. And now, when he got to know by a call saying that your laboratory, your factory, which is established by so many years of research, has fire accident happened. And when he came to that place, Thomas Alva Edison, along with his son, he sees that his entire building is in fire. And nothing can be recovered from there. And he has put his hard-earned time, energy, and effort. What would anybody's state of mind would be when something like that is happening in front of you? That your career, whatever you have put, all that has gone. Now it is burning and into ashes. Now he said to his son, not to worry. Whatever we have done something wrong in terms of our experimentation, now we can take a fresh look at it. I will start from scratch. So he was unaffected by gain or loss. So that is the kind of a person. I'm not giving that who is Chitta Prajna, whether Thomas Alva Edison is a Chitta Prajna or not, but I'm giving you an example of being a scientist and putting so much of effort, still he was able to maintain his cool, the gain or loss. So that is the kind of state you will also come to when you are following this, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and practicing Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So with that, I wanted to end this module. In this module, the last module, we have seen that what is an Atma Rama. He is a self-realized person, and lust, greed and anger he has conquered, and he is able to maintain that equilibrium in whatever kind of situation it is. And the last one, so what is the takeaway from this particular module, if I see it? So we see that one should surrender to the authority guru to get out of the ignorance and the material perplexities. Our real identity is that we are not this material body but spirit soul. And when we perform these two duties, then you will remain in a self-satisfied state, and you will not get bewildered with whatever changes are happening, whether it is happiness or distress, or gain or loss, or whatever will be the condition. You will be tranquil. The tranquility will be there. Peace of mind would be there. So with that, I would end with this particular thing. And if you have any questions or concerns, please shoot out and we will address it. Officially, the class is over now, but if you wanted to stay back, you can stay back to listen to the questions. Yes.
Hello, sir. Jai Sri Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Who is this speaking?
Yeah, this is Shanmukh, sir. You said we have to control our senses.
How to control the senses?
How to control the senses.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you control our senses, if I am hungry, if I want to eat something delicious item, so I didn't have enough money on the time. Okay, I control myself. I move on. The next day, I'm incomplete now, sir. After 1 hour, after 10 minutes, or
Okay.
I'll
I got the question, Prabhu.
Yeah.
You don't mind the answer?
Yeah.
I got the question. You can counter ask if you have not clarified. See, the question was that how do I control, whether controlling the senses is the right thing or not is the first one. Because you can mute, Prabhu, there is some distance. So suppose I have some desire to fulfill, I wanted to eat some delicious food. Should I control my senses not to eat the delicious food? Is one question. And suppose earlier I didn't have the choice of eating or doing certain things. Now I am in a position where I can fulfill the desires that I have. Should I do it or not? See, the point what we need to understand is that you should not suppress your senses. When you suppress your senses, what will happen? Yeah, I see that Srivalli and Sindhu, they are enjoying something. So what is that? Is there anything very? So okay, I'll talk to you later. Okay, so what I was telling is that one should not suppress their senses. They should dovetail with your devotion, dovetail with Krishna. I'll tell you, it's a practical way you can approach this. Now, there are so many munis Vishwamitra Muni. So he is a Muni. He thought that he has conquered his senses, and he fell down when ankle bells were heard. Can somebody get what I'm saying? Can you put it on chat? Who was that person who came and disturbed Vishwamitra Muni? Anybody? Menaka. So in our life also, we see that there are so many things that can disturb your consciousness. So for that reason, what we need to do is that do not suppress things. So I'll tell you one other example. There is in our Guru Parampara, there is one Guru called Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, he is coming from a Muslim background. He is a Muslim by birth in the sense his parents were Muslims. But he is one of our gurus in our parampara, Haridas Thakur. And there was a lot of people who are envious about him, saying that how can he take up to this Krishna consciousness, and how is that he is able to do japa so nicely, and so let us somehow make him fall down. The way Vishwamitra, who sent Menaka actually? One of the demigods who sent Menaka, right? So similarly, there are people in the society who sent one a very opulent, very beautiful prostitute to disturb Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, when in the midnight she came, and Haridas Thakur said, "You came to disturb me, so nothing, and you wanted to have some benefit out of me, and you want me to sense gratify. Okay, just stay back. Let me complete my Hare Krishna chanting. Then we will see what need to be done." He was doing his chanting at later, and sooner, because of the chanting and the consciousness which he was doing, that girl who came became a devotee. She took up Krishna consciousness, seeing this person. So similar, what we are trying to say is that don't suppress your senses. Dovetail with Krishna. Dovetail it with spiritual process. And that one we will discuss in greater detail, how we can dovetail it, what you need to do to dovetail your activities. Because suppressing, when you suppress something, what will happen? It will come back to you one day back, but with much bigger force. There is one in our Bhagavatam, there is one story by the Muni named Shaubari Muni. Shaubari Muni wanted to do tapas, and he thought that when I do tapas on this material, on the ground, on this earth, there is so much of disturbance. So let me go inside the sea, ocean, and there let me sit down and do tapas. And he was doing tapas for so many thousands of years. And one day he come to see that there is two fish, one male and a female fish mating, and he got disturbed. And his tapas was disturbed, and he came back and married so many wives, and he begot children. So now don't suppress anything. So what you need to do is that you need to dovetail. How to dovetail? It will take some time for you to attend the rest of the classes. We will discuss that. Is that okay, Shanmukh Prabhu? Make sense? Say hi. Good. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, that's a high five. Next, anybody can mute and ask. There is one question by somebody, Pavan Kumar. I have one question to ask you, Guruji. I am RSS worker, where RSS says bring awareness towards the people, serve the people, and love the country. And RSS, okay. So I was an RSS Swayam Sevak. I don't know who is this who has asked. Pavan Kumar Prabhu. So I used to go to Shaka every day. Morning I used to do the Namaste Sada Vatsale. So that prayer also I know. I used to do it. So serving your nation, serving your people is good. But at the same time, what am I doing as part of this Bhagavad Gita classes? Am I not serving my nation? Am I not serving my people? On and above it, I am not discriminating that if some foreigners are there, don't come and attend my classes. So there was a question that was asked to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada asked, are you great or Mahatma Gandhi is great? What is this? This is a question which can hamper and can take you anywhere. Are you great or Mahatma Gandhi is great? Because there are a lot of people who wanted to bring down Srila Prabhupada because in 10 years of time, he has built 108 temples and he has told to the entire world who is Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord. So they asked, the reporter asked, are you great or Mahatma Gandhi is great? He said, there are two foreigners who are like gigantic personalities, white elephants they used to call. They were doing chamara to him. You know what is chamara? So fanning him in the back. Then he said, showing these two people, Mahatma Gandhi has thrown Britishers out, white people out of the country. Just see these two people. They left everything, their own country. They came here and I don't pay them a single pie. And they are working for this ISKCON movement free of cost. You ask yourself who is great. Again, it is not that we are underestimating the contribution of Mahatma Gandhi. At the same time, understand this. Whatever you said, Prabhu, Pawan Kumar Prabhu, RSS, they are doing at their level, whatever they are doing, that is what they are doing. Nothing wrong with it. I asked myself, got a lot of inspiration from Mohan Bhagat, and I am having good contacts with Ram Madhav, who is the General Secretary for the BJP. He was a Swayam Sevak and I met him so many times when he came to Hyderabad. And Murli Manohar Joshi, I met him. I am not trying to say that I am a big shot. But what I am saying is that Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is at a different level. It is not at this material level. It is more at a spiritual level, self-realization level. Doesn't mean that you should forget your Swadharma. As a soldier, if I say that the same question can be put across to a soldier, one should not kill. One should not kill is what the first dharma of Buddhism. What is the first principle of Buddhism? What is the highest principle of Buddhism? Can anybody tell me what is the highest principle of Buddhism? What is the first one? Nobody? Ahimsa parmo dharma. What he is saying is that ahimsa, one should not do ahimsa. But that kind of a philosophy is not good. Because when need comes, you have to do violence. Violence for a positive reason, for a higher reason. See, Krishna is inspiring Arjuna to go and fight, kill people. So sometimes ahimsa is required to establish certain things. A soldier in the borders should not say that I have read Bhagavad Gita, I follow certain things, now I will not kill the enemies. You have to kill and you have to, so that is all it is. So yes, Prabhu, RSS has got its own place to play. I am not denying that. But again, we have to follow certain things, keeping our consciousness, our higher principles in mind. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Rajesh Prabhu will take your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is like, how can the teenagers of my age and little bit lower of my age, how can there be a positive combination between the thought process of the parents and the teenager people, how they think, like, or how can the person convince their parents, like what we think and what my parents think?
Yeah,
there is a two different direction in the thought process.
I address your question. So the question what you are asking is that there is a generation gap. My parents are there, their age is different, my age is different. Now I am a teenager. I am having a conflict. See, I'll tell you what. My son, he's your age. He's now doing his BTech second year from an engineering college. So before I left eating non-veg or eating, for that matter, onion and garlic also we don't eat. Before I left that, my son has left that, and he has inspired me to leave whatever are not to be eaten, which is not good for you. So some of you might have apprehensions about eating habits. Yeah, but don't suppress things. Have the right understanding, and with that right understanding, so slowly when you purify your, when you come in association of the devotees, your senses will get purified, and your consciousness will get purified. So that is the importance of association. Prabhuji, the answer to your question is that there will be some, see, not everybody is on the same page. Your understanding, your understanding, your desires, your ideas, and you sometimes you cannot be in tune with the others. That is quite possible, and that is in fact there. So what you need to do now, your parents may say that don't attend this Bhagavad Gita at all. It is when you attend Bhagavad Gita, I have seen some of the people, but they don't get married. Who said that? So this is the wrong conception people have. There are people who say that when I went once to distribute or to do book distribution, right? Bhagavad Gita, please take this Bhagavad Gita. Then they said, no, how can we do that? We cannot take Bhagavad Gita and put it at home. I was surprised. What is this? How can somebody say that I will not take Bhagavad Gita, and he's submissively saying that I will not take Bhagavad Gita, I cannot take it to home. Then I asked him, why is that? And he was a married man. And he said that when I take Bhagavad Gita and put it in my home, there will be war, and I will be start quarreling with my wife, and I will be quarreling with my children. So the lot of misconceptions are there. So your parents or my parents, sometimes they have some difference of opinion, but by example we have to show, by having a determination, the irresolute, that we Ekoha Kurunandana, he was saying, Krishna was saying, be irresolute with your determination. You take some, see, I also have to make some decisions in my life to come to this stage of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Hardly I knew what is Sanskrit. Hardly I able to pronounce this. One of the Matajis was asking, how I'm not able to pronounce these slokas properly. It is just by practice you will be able to, but that practice needs some determination, and it is possible to each one of you when you determine yourself to do it. And to end this, Prabhu, Rajesh Prabhu, to ask you, how do I deal with this situation? It takes time, Prabhu. It takes time, but again, you need to make a determination. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. That fall could be that sometimes you have to be irresolute with your determination, and so slowly, by seeing your changes, your parents will come to Krishna consciousness, and they will also start appreciating Bhagavad Gita. They will also, I've seen, first I did not, not to say this, but my wife is much more serious than me, and she's more doing devotional service than me. I get inspiration, and that's how I came into Krishna consciousness, because of my family. In one way, I'm indebted to them also. So it will take time, Prabhu. And one thing is there, prarabdha is also there. What kind of parents you got, it is not. It is based on your prarabdha. And Krishna at later point of time will tell us that what kind, when you do this devotional service now in this life, what will happen to your next life? That assurance is going to give you. So it will just start in next chapter actually. the Karma Yoga part, which is going to start in the next chapter tomorrow.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
sir.
Dandavat
Yeah,
pranam.
Prabhu, go ahead.
There are few questions in chat, so I will just address them, Prabhu. Okay, so there is one question from.
So 1 second, Prabhu. Rajesh Prabhu, if you have any questions, please interact with me. You can message me. I can. We can have a discussion also. So no doubt
Sure,
about it.
sir.
I can help you in whatever way with my capacity. Thank you. Yeah, Raghunath Puri Prabhu, go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji, Puja Mataji requested that how much importance we should pay in percentage time towards Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma.
Okay. So there is no hard and fast rule based on your time, place, and circumstances you need to act. I would say that you perform your prescribed duties very well. At the same time, the inspiration to do your prescribed duties well comes from when you perform your Swadharma properly. And it is not basically the time. It is more to do with the quality. Quality is more important than quantity. There are people who say that I know there is a friend of mine. He used to hardly read. But again, whenever he used to sit down for exams and read, he used to not even switch on his telephone. Sorry, with mobile phone. So he used to switch off. So much. But when he wanted to come and play in the playground or do certain other activities, he was doing it. But when it comes to certain things, so once you prepare well for the exam with that focused mind, quality time, you can perform your prescribed duties, or maybe going and playing in the playground or chatting with your friends. So that one again, see, the problem is that our mind is the culprit. When I am engaged with some of the activities, there is one video, probably you can also search on the internet, YouTube channel, Me and My Mind. There's a mind that I have performed with my other colleagues. So that in that mind, Me and My Mind, where we have seen how this mind is can be tamed, how it is an enemy and how it is a friend. So that is what we need to try and do. What was the question, Raghunath Puri Prabhu?
Prabhuji, percentage in terms of Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma.
There is no percentage. Quality is more important, and just swalpam api, little bit also if you do, Krishna is going to appreciate and is going to empower you. So swalpam api, that's what Krishna is saying. So little bit also if you do, he will inspire you and he will take charge of you, and he will be seeing that your Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma will go in parallel. They should go in parallel, not that totally neglect this. Based on your time, place, and circumstances, take up. Suppose somebody says you need to take to read Bhagavad Gita. Now you may say that should I read Bhagavad Gita for 1 hour, 2 hours per day? It depends. 1 sloka per day is also good. It depends upon your time availability. So thank you, Mother. Harish.
Okay, Prabhuji, there's a next question from Dilip Prabhu. Why some sages and mystics leave their Swadharma?
See, that they are not supposed to. That is the problem, right? Swadharma, you have to do your Swadharma. See, leaving the family and becoming a Vanaprastha or a Sannyasa is as part of your stages of your life. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. These are the stages. And practically, what is that you can learn from this? See, now if you ask me, I am devoting more time for Krishna consciousness. What I used to do in the past. That means, but again, am I neglected my prescribed duties? Am I not taking care of my financial needs? Am I not taking care of my family needs? I am taking care. But I have ensured that that they are comfortable and I am in a better position. Then I can focus on my Sanatan Dharma. One should also try, and our Varnashrama Dharma, whatever is there, is basically trying to take you to that level where slowly, when you come to a matured state, you should be able to focus more on what is your real duty. But again, not neglecting, not negating, not leaving your Swadharma. Both should go in parallel, but the percentage may vary based on the Varna and the Ashrama also. Ideally, when you are in Sannyasa Dharma, you should not have any of the attachments towards your bodily needs. So, and so that is the reason why they go into that kind of a state where they are focused totally on Swadharma. So, sorry, Sanatana Dharma. Okay, Prabhu, we'll take last question. It is already 7:30.
Yeah, Prabhu. So there is a few more. We'll take one question from Vijay Mohan Prabhu. I think you had answered this, but still I'll just reiterate here. When there is a conflict between Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma, what should one choose? For example, time.
So, Prabhuji, one thing we should understand. Yesterday, one Mataji was asking, tomorrow exam is there, or couple of days exam schedule is there, timing already date is confirmed. What should I do? Should I sit in front of the Supreme Lord and pray that Krishna, please make me pass the exam? Will that help you? Did Krishna say that to Arjuna, okay, you have surrendered to me, now sit back, relax, I am going to fight the war? You have to do your Swadharma and you have to do your Sanatana Dharma, and there is no doubt about it. So that's what it is, Prabhuji. So we will end now. Thank you everyone for participating. We will end by a short kirtan, and I once again request you all and thank you all for joining so regularly and being so attentive, and especially those kids who are already interested to take part in this particular discussion. I'm really happy for that. And please read and attend the quiz. Today there will be another quiz. If you have not attended the previous quiz, that's okay. This quiz, please attend the one that will be getting posted today. And we will be announcing the topper who is performing well in the quizzes also. We'll quickly do a few seconds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and then end.
Prabhuji, thank you very much for answering all the questions. There are a few more questions. We will address it in the future. Yeah,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्री भगवत गीता की जय. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all. Thank you very much. Be safe and see you all tomorrow.